Good afternoon, everyone. I think we should give another couple of minutes before we start our webinar. I know there are a lot of people who are waiting to be joining. So let's give them another minute or two, then we'll start the session. Good afternoon, everyone. Once again, this is Suresh Kumar Mani. I'm all excited to invite all of you, to welcome all of you to this webinar. This is going to be one of the most interesting webinars because this is going to be about CPAs. Why should somebody consider pursuing CPA? What are the advantages? What are the benefits? What are the opportunities that one individual will have if he or she pursues this course? Before we go further on this, let me introduce myself. My full name is Suresh Kumar. I'm a chartered accountant. I'm a CPA, Certified Public Accountant from the US US CPA board. I'm in Colorado State Board of Accountancy. I've done my diploma in IFRS from ACC UK. And of course, I also have a BCom degree from Bangalore University. And by the way, I'm from Bangalore and hope all of you are staying safe. I know the situation in India is getting bad, all thanks to this disease COVID. Please stay safe. Please stay indoor. It's more important, all right? Okay, so the purpose of this webinar, as I said, is to talk about CPA. So I want this session to be as interactive as possible, folks. So please feel free to unmute yourself. If you're not able to unmute and speak, please raise your hand or please, put your questions in the Q&A section. So I'm going to actually let everybody the permission to talk. So which means I would like all of you to go on mute first, and whenever there is a question, then feel free to unmute yourself and then ask questions. Do not have to wait for the entire session to get over. As we're talking, as we're doing, as I'm covering certain specific items, please do ask me questions if something is not clear. And to a large extent, the questions will get covered because we know that a lot of our students, a lot of our professionals who want to pursue this course have very similar questions. So I'm pretty sure you'll have answers for almost all your questions by the time we complete our webinar. But still, if you think something is not clear, something's not been covered, do stop us, do stop me, and feel free to ask questions. So once again, welcome back. Welcome to this course. The agenda for the day is, of course, we are an introduction. We are going to talk about why you need to consider the US CPA as one of your, educational qualifications, and what are the requirements for somebody to pursue CPA? What is the structure? What are the contents of the examinations? And finally, of course, we're going to talk about why somebody should consider taking this course with Becca. In fact, even before I go there, I would like to tell you that I did my CPA about 15 years back in 2006, 2008, 2007, yes, 2006, 2007, I completed my CPA. It's been 15 years, and I was a student of Becker. I never knew that I was going to do something like this. I'm going to be associated with Becker for CPA. But yes, I was living in the US and I was doing my CPA through this Becker. And as a student, I know how easy it was to complete my CPA course just because of this Becker material. When it comes to Becker, we'll talk about that. I'll share more of my experiences. And of course, we'll have opened it for any questions that is not covered. So let's begin with the US CPA benefits and opportunities, guys. I really want all of you to understand one thing, that CPA in the US rather the CPAs of the US are not in demand just in the US. Remember, today you see all the companies, almost all the US companies have a presence outside of the US. They have presence across the globe. And without doubt, we know that they all know how important it is to have an operation set up in India, whether it is in Bangalore or Chennai or Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Hyderabad, Gurgaon, Pune, name it. They consider all these locations as a prime locations for them to look at setting up their operations. Excuse me. So having said that, when companies like these, the foreign companies, the US companies want to expand their operations or set up their subsidiaries or branches or there's organizations in India, they always prefer to look for people who have done CPAs because they don't understand what is chartered accountants. They do to some extent, but they get more confidence, they get more comfort the moment you say you're a CPA from a particular state board is from the US. They get the more confidence. So you will be always preferred. And I've seen it, this is my experience says that this has been the case in many companies as well. And very important thing is look at this. According to AICPA, 75% of today's CPAs will be retiring over the next 15 years. My goodness. Close to 75% of the current CPAs will be retiring, which means there's going to be a huge vacuum of professionals. There's going to be a huge shortage of CPAs very soon. We're talking about just 15 years, man, not very far, just 15 years. And I remember the time flies so quickly, and we would not be even knowing that this has already happened. So this is another data point that I thought we should share, because that's one of the most important things to tell our folks to make them understand there's going to be an acute shortage of supply of CPAs, but there is going to be huge demand of CPAs, because I'm pretty sure you all know that the CPAs today are in demand for various reasons, like from the regulatory point of view, from the reporting point of view, from the compliances point of view. There's huge amount of demand for CPAs. So that will continue. There is never going to be an end to this. So, these professionals, there's going to be evergreen opportunities. That's the first thing. Second thing is, though there is huge opportunities, unfortunately, the availability of professions will also get reduced, which means huge opportunities. So moving on, there is higher earnings potential over the course of their career, estimated to have $1 million difference. That's okay. We'll not talk about the money matters now. We'll talk about the benefits, then we'll go there. So, of course, we're talking about the benefits and opportunities, relevance of US CPA. As I was explaining, the countries, almost all the foreign countries, especially the ones in the US, they always prefer to have CPAs. Then the demand that you have is not only from the US CPAs, but also, guys, if you're not talking, can you please go on mute? I've unmuted everybody. I've given the permission to all to unmute and talk. I can see Paka Umesh and Ranpal Sharma. You've unmuted yourself. You have any questions, gentlemen? If not, please go on mute. Please go on mute. Yeah. Ranpal Sharma. Okay, I'm going to mute you. Okay, I've muted him. Okay, so coming back. So we have a global recognition, folks. Absolutely no doubt. The US CPA has got recognition across the globe. And, I know most of my students have asked, should we really look at, pursuing this profession and staying in India itself? Or do we have an opportunity to travel to the foreign countries and settle down in Western world? Yes. Answer is yes. There are a lot of opportunities in Europe, a lot of opportunities in Canada, North America. May not be in US because of the US regulations, but I know some of my students have settled down there, and ladies, especially if somebody's getting married to the engineers or the doctors or already an accountant who's living in the US, then yes, of course, you can always look at taking this up courses and settling down in the US. So opportunities are humongous. There's huge opportunities across regions. So I'm just going to show some of the slides which will talk about the openings that we had seen from big brands. Like, for example, if you see Barclays, one of the requirements was for the VP financial control or the controller. one of the requirements was they wanted either a CA or a CPA or ACCA. See, they're looking at chartered accountants or certified public accountants. Similarly, if you see the other thing, McAfee, they wanted a senior accountant who was they were looking for an individual who had either CA or CPA or CMA degree or qualifications. Look at KPMG, they have the requirements for CPAs or CPAs or CA, CPAs or ACCA. Then another leading company in Hyderabad, for example, they had a similar requirements. Amazon, something very, very common nowadays. Amazon is recruiting left, right, and center. All the professionals, there's huge demand of CAs and CPAs. Another company, Core Energy, there was a requirement for a MBA or a CPA. And another company in UAE, they were looking for a CA, CPAs. NTS, again a company in Dubai, they had an opening for somebody with a CPA qualification with minimum 8 years experience. So this really shows the amount of demand the profession has got. Okay. The next thing is we just put a small slide of the professions or the degrees that is in demand. And if you see the certifications, in demand certification, the first thing that comes up is CPA, then comes MBA, then CFA, then Chartered Global Management, CIA and CISA. If you see the demand for the accounting professionals, the certificate, this considers certification, of course. And if you see one of the most important certifications that is in demand in the market is, of course, CPA. Not even MBAs. MBAs are required for running the business, but CPAs will teach them how to run the business. That's the beauty of these professions. And then again, another slide to show the demand. Okay, I don't want to get into the demand just to show that there is a demand, but I know there is definitely huge opportunities awaiting all the people who are completing the CPAs, because one of the most important things that you're going to see now is the examination details for the US CPA. What I mean by that is we're just going to start talking about the different types of course subjects you have, how many times you can write the exams, what is the time gap that you have, how many levels you have, and things like that. Is there any chartered accountants or cost accountants or CS in a session today? Is there anybody who has done CA who is in the session today? Would you like to please unmute and introduce yourself? Okay, why did I ask this question? For simple reason that if you see chartered accountants, for example, you need to do different levels. You have IPCC or CA Inter. You got 2 papers, 2 groups, and each group has got 4 papers. You go to the finals, you got 2 groups again, then you got two groups, each group has got 4 papers, right? So totally you got some 8 or 16, or depending if you're coming from CA Foundation, then you got another 4 papers to get included. And how long it takes for us to become a CA? It takes us 3 years of experience, articleship, plus you got 2 years for you doing a intermediate or IPCC, then finals. It's about 4 years to 5 years of investment, right? Yes, but that is not going to be the case when it comes to CPAs. And I want all of you to remember, unlike in India, where chartered accountancy or cost accountancy or company secretary professional courses, which all of these are driven by the central government or it's a central board. There's only one board, like the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, which regulates the entire examination system across India, right? Likewise, in the US, there is one board called ASCPA, that is the institute which is responsible for the entire CPA program, but it is monitored, or rather the requirements of a person to become a CPA depends on the state in which the person would like to become a CPA. What I'm trying to explain is, or emphasize is, ASCPA is a body which governs the examinations. To write that examination, you need to check if you're eligible to write the exam based on the state in which you want to be associated with. We all know there are more than 50 states in the US, and each state has its own set of regulations. Like, for example, Colorado State is where I did my CPA. I know one of my friends did through California State. Another friend of mine did through Texas. Because of our requirements, uniqueness, we were able to choose our state. We'll talk about that in some time. So this is one thing, you need to have some, you have to complete those examinations, and of course you have to have proper education to become eligible. And of course there is also a requirement to have some experience to become a CPA, to get a license. So I want you to please look at the educational requirement, guys, before you can look at becoming a CPA or try to take up the course. The rules vary amongst different states, but general rule is at least you should have 150 credit hours. That means you should have done at least 5 years of course, which means BCom plus MCom, 2 years of MCom or MBA. So you need to have at least 5 years of college education, within which 24 hours business and accounting credits should be available. So the requirement for many states is that a person should have done at least 5 years of 5 years of college to become eligible to give this CPA or write this, consider the CPA exams. There are a few states which says if you've done only BCom, that is 120 degrees or even lesser, you are still eligible for it. So that's what makes it interesting. So most of our students we see have done only BCom, and after that they've just joined some jobs, and that after 3 years, 5 years, they feel that they need to take up some additional course to grow in their profession. So we always help them that, don't worry, boys and girls, you have some states which allows you to pursue the exam, because there are states which allows even BCom graduates to be eligible. Like for example, if you see, BCom is accepted by California, Virginia, and Tennessee. Wow. So these are the states which allows you to consider, they allow even the BCom graduates to be eligible to write their exams. Okay. So don't worry, every state is unique. If somebody is planning to settle down in say New York or Illinois, Chicago, or somebody wants to live in Dallas, then Texas. So you have to understand what is your requirement, what is that you want to do. And accordingly, you need to plan whether you're eligible for writing the exams there, and accordingly plan your courses. If you're not eligible for some reason, but you're eligible in California, still do that course, but live in Texas. But slowly you can get a license for Texas also. Like for example, when I was living in the US, I was living in Texas, but I took up Colorado State Board of Accountancy because they recognize chartered accountants to be eligible for the CPA course. We'll talk about that in more detail. What I mean to say is, even if you're not eligible in particular state, but see if you're eligible in other states and give you exam, because writing exams is more important, clearing the exams is more important. Then you can easily shift your license or obtain your licenses in other states. Now coming to the requirements, generally you see BCom plus MCom is considered, or MBA is considered, or there are combinations like BCom and CAs or ICWAs, or even BCom and CA intermediate, or BCom plus MCom one part alone. That's enough. Even course completion is enough. With 1 year course completion is enough. That makes you eligible. So as I said, there are 55 state jurisdictions. Okay, you see these are different states. And I gave my exam in Colorado. I was living in Texas. But I did my CPA from Colorado State Board of Accountancy. See, you can do that. Nothing wrong. There are people. In fact, you will realize that by the time you finish your exams, you'll be living in India but taking one of the states as your preferred state. At the end of the day, folks, what is important is not the state. What is important is clearing your exams. And first of all, for clearing exams, you need to write exams, which means you need to know which state will consider you as an eligible candidate or student. Okay. And in fact, if you're interested to know are you eligible for a particular state or not, please go to this website. Go to becker.com/state. Then you know how we can put your details, your credentials, and you will know the states in which you are eligible. Is that clear, folks? But guys, come on. In case something is not clear, please stop me. Raise your hand, unmute yourself, and talk. Okay. Here comes the steps to become a CPA. In fact, what we're going to talk now is, I was talking about the eligibilities and things like that, right? So how do we start as a CPA student? What is that I should know? What I should do? First, check your requirements, state requirements. Give your requirements. Find out if your eligibility, if you are able to meet the eligibility criteria of the states. It could be the state that you want. It could be any state that you want. Check. If not, then be flexible to accept the changes, in the sense, move to a state or consider the state where your qualification will be considered. After that, you submit your applications. You need to apply for your CPA, guys. You need to apply for the apply to the particular state with all your credentials, so that they can approve your credentials and say, yes, I let you to be my student, to be my state student. State Board of Accountancies will have the authorization to approve it, which means you're going to submit your applications. Then once you submit your applications, then parallelly you can start preparing. Once you're eligible, applications approved, you're going to start pursuing, you're going to start registrations with institutes like Beckham, start parallelly preparing for exams. Once you start preparing for exams, then you submit your application with the payment of examination fees, wherein the examination fees will be collected and you will also be given permission to write your exams. And that is known as NTS. When I say NTS, it means notice to schedule. What I mean by notice to schedule? Let me give you the example. Once you are enrolled, say for example, with say California, the California State Board of Accountancy will give you permission to be the student. Then you apply to them and say that, Mr. California State Board, I would like to now write my examination. So you can choose the paper that you want. You don't have to write all the papers at one go. You can say, I would like to write auditing paper now. I would like to now write finance paper now, FAR paper now. Whatever paper that you want to apply, just apply for that particular state of a particular paper to the state. And state in turn will give you a permission that is known as notice to schedule, NTS. And what does this NTS tell you? It tells you, okay, I'll give you permission to write the exam within 3 months or within 6 months. So this is the point that I was trying to emphasize in the beginning. I choose a state based on the time that you are given. If you see, Colorado State, one of the reasons I took the Colorado State Board of Accountancy is because it gave us 6 months to write your examination, which means you do not have to be in a hurry to write the exams. Like if you take some cases, some states, they give you only 3 months for doing this exams. So moment you get the permission, from the date of permission, 3 months is the time, 90 days is the time for you to schedule the exam and write the exams. Okay, but this becomes another important characteristics or a point that you need to remember when you're going to enroll as a student of CPA. So this becomes another point. So I chose Colorado based on this also, so that it gives me 6 months time to write my exam. And remember, I don't have to write all my papers at one go. I can write one paper, and this 6 months is for one paper. When I'm ready to write another paper, I'll apply another. I'll send another request to the board, and they will approve it. From the approval date, they'll give me 6 months to write the other paper. Then again, third paper, I'll again pay for the processing fees, apply for the exams. They give you another 6 months or 3 months, as the case may be. So for every paper, they will give you 6 months. But if you want to write all the papers at one go, they give you 6 months for all the papers at one go. In other words, NTS is what? It's a permission to let you write the examination. So this NTS can be obtained by you for one paper or two papers or three papers or all four papers in one go. But the problem is, when you're applying for 4 papers at one go, you should be prepared to write all four papers within the 3 months or 6 months period. That is what we mean by notice to schedule. So once you have done it, once you get the permission, once you're ready, you're going to go to the website, Matrix website, which means the examination centers. You can choose the city where you want to write your exams. So you can choose nowadays. In fact, after COVID, one of the good things because of COVID is students who are planning to pursue CPA, they can give their exams in India itself. They can write exams in Bangalore, Chennai, Mumbai, Delhi, Calcutta. They can do that. That's a great news. You don't have to travel to Dubai. You don't have to travel to the US. That was the biggest problem of CPA course. People who are writing CPAs, they had to either go to Dubai or UAE or to the US for giving their exams, which is not the case hereafter. You can still write the exams in India. That's a great news. So which means you can choose a city where you want to write the exams, date on which you want to write the exam, then the time when you want to write the exam. You have to slot that. You'll have slots. You have to just book that. Once you're writing the exam, that's it. You sit and clear exams. Then after the 4 papers, if you want to get a license, you need to then write your ethics paper and get your license membership from the particular CPA or the State Board of Accountants. And of course, there is also a work experience requirement which varies from state to state. Between some states requires 1 year of experience, 2 years of experience, and things like that. So most of our students we see, they're already eligible from the work point of view, because most of the students get to know about the CPA course only after they've joined some MNCs. They started working for some companies for at least 3-4 years. So from the work point of view, experience point of view, there's no problem at all. Any questions, people? You guys have any doubts, any questions? Karan Sharma, you have any questions that you want to ask? Shruti?
No, not as of now. Thanks.
Wonderful, correct. Thank you. What about Shruti Patel? You have any questions that you have that you want me to ask? Clarify. No, madam. That's okay. Good. So, guys, this is the best part. This is seriously the best part. You have only 4 papers, man. You just have to write 4 papers to become a CPA. That's all. You just need 4 papers: auditing, financial accounting and reporting, regulation, and business environment and concepts. Business, we call them in short form as business. Just 4 papers. Write those 4 papers and you will be called a CPA, man. That's it. You see, think about BCom also. You need to go to BCom first year, semester 1, semester 2, second year, or semester 1, semester 3 and 4, semester 5 and 6, or third year. You have long way to go. But to get the CPA qualification, the certification, just need to clear the 4 easy papers. That's it. I call this easy because I know how easy it is once you become a student of Becker and how easy it becomes for you to complete your courses. Nevertheless, so just 4 papers, that's it, and you will be a professional. You'll be equivalent to chartered accountants who will spend 4 years, 5 years to become a CA with different exams, and he fails one paper, he has to write all the papers again, right? That is not the case here. You take the example of CS or CWA or CA. What happens? You have groups. If you fail in one paper, you need to write all the papers in the group. Again, wait for 6 months and write. You have to prepare for all the 4 papers in one go, 5 papers in one go, 6 papers in one go, and sit and write. But that is not the case here. The major advantage is you can decide which paper to write, when to write. That's a great advantage. So 4 papers we have is these 4: auditing, business, financial, that is financial accounting and reporting, and regulations. These are the 4 papers, and see the beauty. They've got, in case of auditing, 72 MCQs. Whenever this MCQ, it's like, Kaun Banega Crorepati? I'm sure all of you have seen this Kaun Banega Crorepati, right? You see what happens. Amitabh Bachchan asks a question and he'll give you the 4 answers, and there is one, you have to choose the one that is right. That's exactly what is going to happen to you also. There is 72% or 72 questions of MCQs in case of auditing, and 8 task-based simulations. We'll talk about simulation in a while. So if you see business, you got 62 MCQs, you got 66 MCQs and 76 MCQs, which means major portion of your questions in the examination is from MCQs, which means you already are given the answers. You just have to choose the right one, and it becomes easy once you have mastered the topics, concepts. Then what are these task-based simulations? It's like a essay type questions. They give you a situation. They'll ask you to choose. After giving the situations, they'll also give you the options for you to choose the right answer for that. Like fill in the blanks they'll give you. For example, auditing, they may give you an audit report. They'll give you the complete audit report. They'll simply give you, they'll underline certain lines and say, can you please confirm if this line is correct? Do you think if this heading is correct? And they'll also give you a drop down of what should be the right answer. Wow. What else you want, man? You don't have to memorize these things. Only thing is you should know the concept. If, for example, audit opinion. And under audit opinion, if it is a clean report or unmodified opinion, the title of the opinion should be just opinion. But if it is qualified opinion, the title should be changed to qualified opinion. Let's assume the examiner has given you a qualified opinion situation, and the heading is being shown as just opinion. But you know, after you study, you know this is not qualified. It should be it should not be opinion. It should be, the heading should be changed to qualified opinion. There will be a drop down. They'll say opinion. They'll say qualified opinion, adverse opinion, disclaimer opinion. What do you choose? That's it. Yes, Prachi, please unmute and tell me. What's your question? You can unmute, madam. Prachi? You want? Okay, there was a raising of hand and I don't see the person again. Okay, so that's all, guys. Similarly, when it comes to this, in fact, business is the only section where you'll have written communication, guys. Rest of the things will be task-based simulation, which means they'll give you situations. You just have to do the fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks. There'll be 4 or 5 answers. Choose the right answer and drop down. That's all. But when it comes to the business, that's where you will be asked to do some communication. You need to be smart in articulating few things. They'll give you a situation. They'll ask you to please explain how do you interpret the situation. What is the recommendation that you have, and so on and so forth. So that's the only place where you need to worry about your writing skills, but otherwise you don't worry about any writing skills. The only thing is, please focus on your keyboard skills, because that will become easier once you start knowing how to handle the keyboard quickly. You'll be able to handle these questions. Remember, there's a time management that plays a very important role in these examinations. Okay, we move to the next one. The key details of the uniform CPA examination is you've got to have effective communication skills, professional spectrism. So by the time you complete it, you'll be able to have all these qualifications. We'll be able to prepare you for all these things. Then the skill levels, remembering and understanding is required. Applications, how to analyze them and how to evaluate them. So this is the kind of level of skills that you're going to earn as you learn for the CPA course, and that's what is expected from the CPA examination also. And I'm just showing you a small table which talks about the type of questions you can expect, how much you need to memorize or remember. See, memorization doesn't cross more than 35 to 40%. It depends on the subject. And if you see business, just 25%. In case of accounting, it's just 20, maximum 20% remembrance. You don't remember, you have to remember everything. You don't have to remember anything other than this 10, 20% of the cases. And if you see auditing, you need to remember 30 to 40%, while business is 25%, up to 25, regulations up to 35. Okay, but when it comes to the applications or analysis, the rest of the questions or rest of the requirement is on application skills, analyzing skills. So don't assume that, oh my God, I'm only good in memorizing things. I'm not good in applying the concepts. I'm not good in evaluating the situations or analyzing the situations. Don't ever think that. The way the courses are built is, designed is, as students, you will be in a position to unmute your talents of how to analyze these situations, how to apply the concepts that you have learned in a particular situation. And there will be not just one situation, two situations that will be given during the course time. You will have so many situations. You'll be tired of saying, oh my God, I have become such an expert now. I can handle any situations. Got it? That is the beauty of this course. Then look at the question content. Okay, if you see, this is just an high level, guys. I don't think we need to really spend time on talking all these things, but just want to cover this point just to show you that if you see FAR, for example, there is a section on local and state government accounting. About 5 to 10-15% of the content is from this section. Then you've got standards like IFRS, US GAAP. That's one of the most interesting and the most valuable thing that somebody can get. Okay, when I was a student of US CPA, I was just learning about US GAAP. That's the reason I had to do diploma in IFRS from ACCA. But that is not going to be the case for you guys. You are going to learn not only the US GAAP, but also IFRS. In fact, guys, India is also moving towards IFRS. So this knowledge that you're going to learn from FAR can help you in your India's books of accounts also. It's beautifully done. Okay, they'll cover primarily the US GAAP, but wherever there is a conceptual differences, then they will highlight that this is a change, this is a different thing, which means at the end of the day, you will have a knowledge of both US GAAP and IFRS. To give you an example, LIFO method of accounting is not allowed in IFRS, but that is allowed in US GAAP. So you will learn about LIFO method of inventory valuations, but they will also clearly say this method is not applicable under IFRS. On the other hand, IFRS allows revaluation method for fixed assets, but US GAAP says no, revaluation is not allowed. So that's such kind of detailed discussions you're going to have. And by the end of the program, you'll be an expert in both US GAAP and IFRS. Similarly, when it comes to the regulations, you will learn about the business law, you'll have knowledge about individuals' income taxes, you'll have knowledge about the company tax returns, trust tax returns, estate tax returns. You will have knowledge about the Sales Act, the Bribery Act, and all that. Such a small paper, but you will have everything covered. And remember, you might feel that, okay, so many things, how are they going to make me become an expert in all the 4 papers or all the subjects? The idea is they don't want to make you an expert. The idea is you should know where to look for after you become a CPA, what topic to check, where to go and look for that particular content when you are ready to be a practicing CPA. Okay, that's the beauty of these contents. And finally, we talk about the blueprints, which I think we can just skip it. And this is a very important thing, guys. So we were talking about NTS, right? And I was talking about 6 months and 3 months of timeline. One of the things that's very, very important is you can choose the paper that you want to write. You can first start off with auditing, or you can write business first, or you can write FAR first, or you can write even regulation first. Second can be any paper. So any combination is allowed. Any paper can be written first, any paper can be written second, any paper can be written third, or any paper can be written last. There is no strict rule that to do first auditing, then business, then FAR, then regulation. No, you can write anything first, anything second. You can write any combinations first, any combination second. Like you can write regulations and auditing first, or business and regulation first, or business and FAR first. No problem. Depends on your style and your preparations. That's first thing. Second most important thing is, though I was saying there is no timeline for you to worry about, there's only two things that you remember. The first thing is the timeline with respect to the NTS. That is, once your NTS is given, you need to write your exams and clear the exam write the exam within 3 months or 6 months, depending on the state that you are enrolling. But once you have completed your exam, typically 6 months, right? Say, for example, once you have got the results of the paper that you've written, from the date you have cleared that paper, you have 18 months, 1.5 years, 18 months to complete the balance 3 sections. So the countdown starts to complete the 3 more papers within 18 months from the date you clear the exams. Wow. I'll go slow again. I'll repeat this again. For example, say on 1st of June is when we all applied for this course, and we become eligible on 30th of June. Then I apply for a first paper. Let me take a paper. Let's take, for example, I'll take a regulation paper. I've taken regulation and I requested the department to tell me if I can write regulation paper. They give me the permission. They say, I'll give you 6 months time, Suresh. From July 1st to December 31st, before 31st December, please write your regulation paper. If I don't write, what happens? Nothing will happen. I'll have to again apply with the exam fees and processing fees, and again I'll get 6 months. That's all. Nothing else. So I get 6 months to write the exams. So within the 6 months, say I've written the exam, and in the middle of the August, let's assume 15th August, I get a result that regulation paper I've cleared. Wow, I'm now got 3 papers only to clear. So from 15th August, the countdown starts, the clock starts ticking within 18 months. Within 18 months, I need to clear my 3 other papers. So let's assume for some reason, I'm not able to clear the 3 papers. Let's assume I have cleared FAR, then I've cleared auditing. Business, I became very busy, so I couldn't write the exam business. What will happen? Does it mean that I have to write all the 4 papers again? Answer is no. You just, because you have not written all the 3 papers within 8 months, the first paper that you wrote, that is your regulation, has to be written again, because this has a life of 18 months. If you don't clear the other paper within 18 months, this loses its life, and the countdown starts from the time I completed my second paper. So the example that I given is FAR is what I wrote. Let's assume I completed by October 31st. So the countdown starts from here. So I get another 2 months to write my regulation. So in short, if you complete the exams within 18 months, well and good. For some reason, if you're not able to complete the rest of the 3 papers, you have 1 more paper to write. Remember, you'll have to write the first paper again if you have lost this 18 months. And I've not seen any student, I've not seen any student who has not completed the course within 18 months from the time they clear the first paper. So I've not seen, in the last 4 or 5 years of my teaching profession, I've not seen anyone taking or not completing the course within that 18 months period. Once they've entered, I've seen students, some might fail, but they just write that the paper again and they clear it. Within 18 months, they have sure become a CPAs. So this is very, very important. Keep this in your mind whenever you're planning your exams. Okay, this is just a score release date. I mean, if you're writing an exam in the month of April, May, when can you expect the results? I don't think these are very relevant. I mean, anybody, you can just Google and get the information about these things. So you can expect this results anytime between 1st April to May 31st and things like that. I mean, if you're writing the exam between April and May, you will get the scores by 17th August or 22nd August. Likewise, if you take the exams on or before October 10th, then you can get the results from 19th of September. Got it? Yeah. So all this is result announcement date. I don't think it is very, very keen or relevant. Just skip it. Yes, this is important. We're going to talk about what is the time management, why it is time management important from the exam point of view. We all know what is time management, right? Time management means planning your time in such a way that the given time is utilized exclusively by you for completing your exams. Remember, these are professional courses. Though I might sound that everything seems easy, but in reality, it is easy only if you go well prepared for the exams, which means you need to choose the right service provider, handhold you properly, and get the proper support so that you can give you exams. That's very important, very crucial. And I want you all to, excuse me, I want all of you to remember one other thing. Time management is exclusively important from the exam point of view because the time will keep running. You will have to be mindful of the fact that once you have got the paper, the 4 hours time will start ticking. See, for example, you have different testlets. When we say testlet, it means, for example, if you see the first testlet, you'll have 36 questions, for example. The clock starts running from this point to this point. Okay, when it is running after the first testlet, after writing the 36 questions, you want to take a break. You can take it. Nobody will stop you. But remember, whatever break that you take, you are losing the time, which means that clock continues. For example, had to use the washroom, no problem. After 45 minutes, I just rush to the toilet and come back 5 minutes. 5 minutes lost. That's something you have to be very careful. You have to be mindful of these points. When you're writing exams, you should know that you should know when to take a break, when to take a break, and when you should not. And remember, you cannot take a break when you're giving your testlets, which means if you're not active, it will get locked because you don't want people to cheat. That's the point. And finally, you see, after you write the first testlet and second testlet and the first testlet of task-based simulation, you get a standard break. Wow, they give you a standard break after this. They give you a break after your first testlet of 30 minutes or something. Once you have that, then the second testlet for task-based simulation and written communications or third testlet is open. So what I'm trying to say is, please be mindful that whenever you're writing your exams, you need to be careful as to when to take a break, when not to take a break. And if you are, see, when I was writing my exam, I was in a hurry. I had to rush to the toilet because tension hai yaar, kitna hai, how much to know. The atmosphere was so cold, tension hai. But kuch nahi. After my first lesson, I became very confident. Itna easy hai questions because I prepared well, went well prepared because of Becca. So this is just an example of how the simulation looks. See, they're giving you a situation. They just want you to check if the answer that is given is correct. If you see this, they'll ask you, just look at the underlined section and change it. So if you read this, the increase in the sales general administration expenses was due to ongoing litigation of the former employee, resulting in an increase of $600 in legal fees during the year. And they've also given you an option. Should you delete this? Should you keep this as it is? Should you change this? After reading this situation, you will say, what is the right answer? This is what I mean by task-based simulation, boys. Is it difficult? Bataiye, is it so difficult? Nothing. Once you understood the situation, you need to just choose one of these answers. They've given you the answer. You just have to click the right answer and submit it. You don't have to write. You don't have to think what is missing out. What is the problem that I have to worry about? They have given you the problem also that you have to worry about. They just want you to fill in the blanks. Is it difficult, guys? Tell me. Such an easy thing, isn't it? Similarly, you look at this, they give you a consolidated financial statements and they give you this, they'll ask you, tell me which accounting standard it is. You just have to search for it. You have to just search for it. There'll be an option to click on a search option, put the language, consolidated financial statements. It will give you the accounting standards. Choose the right accounting standard, fill in the blanks. That's all. And this is the favorite part because it tells us what is the pass percentage. How many people have cleared their exams in 2020? I've not got I should be updating this Q4. I'll probably know in the next seminar we'll probably use updated versions. But if you see the questions, in the pass percentage, you see auditing 55% overall, business 68%, FAR 53%, regulation 65%. You see, literally we're seeing more than 53 to 55% of pass percentage. And remember, this is cumulative. This is across the globe. People who have not, This is not of India database. It is not for the Indians. It is for all the people, all the religions, all the countries, all the students who have taken the course. And I want you to remember that the pass percentage, I'm pretty confident when you just take the India region or Asia region will be much higher. And India will be much, much higher. Why? Because we always take education very seriously. And I've seen it. When I have to give an example, when I was in the US, I just went to get my driving license. We had to go in the 5 o'clock in the morning because only 20 driving licenses given on that particular day. Every day you have to go. Only first 20 or 25 students are given the tokens. So I was standing in the queue, and there was a gentleman standing next to me, and he said, "You know what? You Indians and Chinese are smart, man. You will get the license. Only this is the third time I'm coming. I'm finding it difficult to get, but you Indians and Chinese will get this in the first attempt." And it so happens that it's true. We go well prepared for the exams. We go, what is the question? Whatever question comes, we know how to answer, because we know that we got well prepared, man. That is what makes us one of the best people, talents in the globe. And I'm pretty sure if you take the exam rate of Indians alone, right, in ASCPA course or CPA course, it will be at least 70%, 75%. Which means, guys, remember, you have, all of you, I see about 10, 11 participants in the session today. I am pretty sure all of you have at least 70% of chances to clear in the very first attempt. Not that you're not clear in the very first attempt. And when I take sessions, I make all my students clear the exam in the very first attempt. I promise. We do that. Okay? And another interesting fact is this. Students who prepare the Becker pass at double the rate of non-Becker candidates. This is again another proved database. They're not just trying to show this because they want to market it, but that's a fact. That's a fact. And finally, why Becker? As I told you even before I started the session, I was a student of Becker about 15 years back, and I did not even imagine that I will be taking sessions. And my students will be sitting in my place as student, and I'll be standing in the position of a faculty and teaching. Teaching is my profession, my passion, guys. I love teaching. I love teaching because I've come. I've been doing this from my 9th standard, and as a student of Becker, I know how this Becker takes responsibility for the success of the students. They ensure that they make the content so simple. They ensure that only what is relevant from the exam point of view is what is asked in the exam. In fact, the way I give an example of why Becker is, when we were small kids, when we were studying in first standard, second standard, what used to happen? We used to study a lot of things, right, from the first standard, second standard, everything, right, from June, first day, till February or March, we used to study everything. But towards the end, what our teachers should do, what she should give us, 30 revision questions, right? And in the 30, if you go for the final exam, you just have to know those 30 questions. And those 30 questions, and that's it. Questions will come from those 30 questions, and you will clear the exams, isn't it? Similarly, Becker doesn't teach you everything. They just give you those 30 questions. They just give you those 30 important situations or contents that is relevant from the CPA exam point of view. And if you are preparing for those 30 questions, that's it. The 30 questions, that's it. You are ready to give your exams and clear the exams. That is why I say Becker is important. Becker has got that beauty. They have prepared the material in such a way, they know what is relevant from the exam, and only those things are going to be covered. You don't have to study the entire income tax. You don't have to study the entire sections, subsections, rules, case laws. No, you just have to study what is required from the exams. They won't make you a tax expert overnight. They'll make you an expert as to where to check for that, but they'll expect you to know what is relevant from the exam point of view. That is the reason why Becker becomes one of the outstanding, professionals or education professional institutions. Look at this. More than 2,000 organizations trust Becker, including Big Four. In fact, I remember EduPristine has a tie-up with one of the Big Fours in India. They are the partners, knowledge partners. They provide knowledge to all the Big Four entities and prep them for the exams like EY, KPMG, and all. They do that. And not only this, they also conduct online classes and offline classes. They ensure that they handle the students. In fact, after this, if you have any doubts which you're not asking me, you can always feel free to talk to the counselors. There are experts who are sitting to wait, who will be able to explain all situations. In fact, if you think that you're not sure whether you're eligible for the exam, for the course or not, please talk to them. Give them your credentials. Give them your situations. They'll be able to help you. Okay. And in addition to this material, you will be given lots and lots and lots of practice questions, MCQs. They'll give you so many MCQs. They'll give you reasons as to why that MCQ, what should be the right answer for the MCQs. They'll give you simulations. They'll give you final set papers. Just prepare you for the exams. You'll have apps. You'll have online recorded versions that's available. For example, some reason you're not able to attend the class, no problem. If you can always go back and look for the recorded versions. They are available. You see this? You have recorded versions that's available. So I'm just showing an example of your planning. They'll help you in study planning. They'll help you in, this is how the simulation looks. See, for example, you can look for the lecture. You just click on it. On the standards and conceptual framework, there'll be a video that will run. This is not Indians, or this is not for Indian students alone. This is pre-recorded version available for all the students across, whoever has enrolled. The video is the same, the quality is the same, the content is the same. They'll have multiple choice questions. For this first module, you have 40 MCQs, and it should take more 1 hour to 2 hours. They give you all that. And this is an example of how the video runs for revenue recognition. This gentleman, amazing. He'll talk about what is revenue recognition, what is the difference between the contracts, how to recognize a contract, so on and so forth. And you will have all this recorded. As long as you're a student, you will have this recorded. About 2 years, 3 years of access will be given. And I don't think you need it after 1 year. If whoever enrolls, whoever is my student, I challenge them that you all have to target to complete the course within 1 year. Within 1 year. And this is an example of how the MCQ looks. Like, for example, according to FASB and IASB conceptual framework, the primary users of financial reports include all the following except, which means there are 4 answers. They say 3 of them are correct, 1 fellow is wrong. Meaning there are 3 parties who actually use my reports. There's 1 person who doesn't need that report. The answer is creditors or regulators or lenders or investors. For example, somebody has chosen creditors. They'll give you an explanation. No, the answer is actually A. See, answer is wrong. Answer is actually A. They explain why it is so. Why it is so. That's a beauty. They'll give you reasons as to why something is right. They'll give you reasons as to why something is wrong. Then they also have a mock examination that you can write or perform once you're done with the entire course. And you also have a lot of useful tools. Like, this is an example, okay? For example, if you see the first testlet, I told you, right, there are some 32 questions. So this is how the questions will come. So they'll put you in the real, in a virtual examination center, promatric center, where they start giving you questions, and there will be 32 questions. And for example, say you have a problem with the 9th question, you are not sure. Just flag it. Let's come back, do all this, then come back to the 9th question, think about it, and write it again. Okay. And remember one thing, guys. Once you have submitted this booklet, you cannot open this again, which means till the time you submit the booklet, you can spend time in going through this n number of times, changing the answers n number of times. But once you have submitted this button, submitted this questions or this testlet, you cannot open it. So this is the beauty of this mock exams that is presented by Beckers. Additionally, they also give you a lot of flashcards. When I say flashcards, they give you a small lines or small pointers, which is required for you to remember a particular concept. They help you with a lot of additional multiple choice questions that if you want. Okay. And about EduPristine, I don't think you need to sell this, man. I swear. I mean, I personally think, this is one of the best institutions. It's a company listed on NASDAQ. It's called Adtalem Global Education. It's one of the global leaders in providing education across. There's a $3 billion company. Mind you, it's a $3 billion company. It's not a joke. They're very serious about it. And they also help you in a lot of soft skills. And most importantly, I think, this is very important. The EduPristine is part of Becker. It's a subsidiary of Becker. And they actually, EduPristine also helps students to have some job opportunities. They help you with proper resume building. They help you with placing the students in the, right locations. They help them in finding jobs as well. So with this, I'm going to wind up. But before we wind up, I want to open this up for questions, guys. Please let me know if anybody has any questions. Anybody wants me to repeat anything. I'm sure you all will be having so many questions, and I'm sure there will be some sections which I did not answer or I didn't cover. But please tell me if you have any questions that is not and that remains unanswered. Ranpal Sharma, do you have any questions, sir? Feel free, man. Don't worry about. Just don't assume that others are there. So they better whether your question is going to look smart or stupid. Don't care about it. It's your question, and whatever thing comes to your mind, please speak. Yes. Shruti.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Shruti. Good afternoon.
I'm currently in second year studying BCom honors in PDPU Gandhinagar, and we are having 4 years of course, and our college is providing 176 credits.
See, you will be eligible once you complete a BCom. Till then, you won't. I don't think you're eligible, Shruti.
Okay, so after completing BCom, I can give CPA exam, right?
Yes. And what I've seen is you can talk to the counselors to reconfirm this. I remember one of the students was doing the final year of BCom. He enrolled, and after completing his BCom, within 6 months, he was able to complete his CPA also. So you can do that, Shruti.
Okay, so for that, do I need to enroll for MBA or MCom?
Sorry, ma?
As complete BCom, okay, so I will be eligible for giving CPA exam. But do I need to get enrolled for MCom or MBA?
You said 176 hours, right? It's more than 150 hours.
Yes.
Yeah, you should eligible.
Okay.
Thank you, Shruti. I see another question. Laksh Agrawal, how do we check for the credentials that we are eligible or not? In fact, you can go to www.decker.com/states Laksh Agrawal, and from there you can just put your details. And in spite of that, if you have any challenges, call up EduPristine help desk. They'll be able to help you. See the line? You can call them or email them, and they'll definitely ensure that they reach out and they will give you the proper guidance on this for sure.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Pleasure, sir. Thank you. But definitely, sir, do that. If you're interested, don't think twice. I don't think they're going to charge anything for all these things. So better you go and ask.
Yes, sir. Actually, I was doing CA inter. Now I'm giving CA inter group second. I have actually graduated. I have done BBA right now.
You're
so
eligible.
For that,
I'm telling you right away, you're eligible.
So then only I'll leave my second group and start preparing for CPA, because I think CPA is better option than doing CA.
You know what? I mean, from personal experience, I tell you what, don't quit CA. You'll come halfway. Of course, CA is much easier and much. In fact, I know one other story is one of my students was finding difficult to complete a CA finals from Chennai. She did CPA and then went and wrote a CA paper. It became easy for her.
Okay, sir.
Don't give up on CA, Laksh. I'm a chartered accountant. I love to see many chartered accountants. But of course, you can do first this CMA, then pursue that. That way, it will be easier for you to complete.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Laksh. All the best for CA intermediate. Yes, Shruti, tell me, ma.
Sir, most of the US companies prefer MCom or MBA in finance if I have completed CPA.
MBA.
Okay, MBA in finance.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma. Anybody has questions? What about yes, Ruturaj Patel, go ahead. Unmute yourself and talk. Yes, Ruturaj. I can't hear you, sir. Sorry, Ruturaj, I'm unable to hear you. Voice is not at all audible.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, sir. Please, very clear. Tell me.
Yes, I am asking about the marking system of each paper. How much paper did each paper? How much marks each paper?
It's 100 marks questions. 100. They call it as points, not marks. 100 points, and you should get 75 points. And it's easy. Okay, don't worry. 75 points is minimum. You need to get 75 at least in every paper.
Okay. And I have done a BCom for 3 years from Mumbai, and get enrolled for MCom but not completed for first or second year, and doing the CA. So I have to clear inter CA for that eligibility.
Answer is yes, Rutu. But you know what? There are some boards which allows only BCom also. So why don't you talk to our counselors and give you an exact situation, because they are very unique. I don't want personal conversations here because everybody has unique situations. So I would suggest you please talk to the counselor, tell them exactly your credentials and how many years experience you have and things like that, and they'll be able to help you on that. Just BCom is also sufficient. I'm sure you must have seen in one of the slides, BCom of 120 plus years is also sufficient. In some states they are low, so you're eligible.
Okay. And about that experience they need of 1 year, did they consider the articleship experience?
Yes.
Okay.
Because at the end
So
of the day, what matters is you should be experienced. You should have the experience of working in a
I have done 2 years, completed 2 years of articleship. So they will consider it. Yeah.
They should, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, Shruti, go ahead.
Can you give some guidance related to CMA?
What, ma?
CMA, Certified Management Accountant.
Yes. What is your question on that?
As I am eligible to give CMA after 12th standard, as I am in second year and I am eligible for that. So is it better if I am both CPA and CMA?
You're eligible to write CMA for sure. Yes, I know a lot of colleges are offering this. A lot of people are just trying to get a CMA as part of their curriculum also. So you're eligible to write your CMA. There's no doubt. But the choice is actually made by you. Do you want to just be a CMA or you want to do CPA also? And CMA, you are just 2 papers to write. Just 2 papers, part 1 and part 2.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Yes. Anybody has any other questions? Okay. Silence. I'm going to take that you have no questions. But guys, you know what? I'm going to wish you guys all the very best. I'm pretty sure, you'll be looking at, there's a reason why all of you have attended this webinar. I'm sure you all are trying to become a successful professional, go to the next level. There are a lot of people who must be, already working. They must be seeing that they may not be getting promotions in their organization because they don't have the qualifications and things like that. But please do not give up. Courses like these are the ones that will help you. These are the kind of professions that is going to help you to, be successful in life. And an investment for about 1.5 years maximum, and you will have a huge return forever. You will get returns every year. It's one-time investment, but return is going to come every month, every day. You're going to see a return. Okay. So with that, okay, I see Shruti raising her hand. Okay, what's your question?
Does Bangalore or EduPristine conducting CMA coaching classes?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Courses also, yeah. In fact, CMA courses offered by Becker is much superior than others, and it's pretty amazing because you'll by the time you complete a CMA, you'll have knowledge of a lot of things, financial management. Amazing this. I do sessions for that also, so I know. Even ACCA is something they provide. ACCA is also amazing with the UK, and of all the courses, ACCA is my favorite because the material is so easy to follow. ACCA, but I leave it to you guys. I'm not saying do CA, do CPA, do CMA. You choose your choice. You take a decision. It's your life. It's your profession. You need to be thinking of which one is right for you and take it. Evaluate all the plus and minus, advantage, disadvantage, and choose it. Okay? Okay, Shruti?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Lovely. Thanks for all the lovely questions, people. And I wish you guys, Happy New Year for those in Southern India. There's Ugadi coming up on 13th, and Tamil New Year and Visu for South Malayalis and Tamilians. And I know there are festivals in Calcutta, and West Bengal, and Punjab. So whatever it is, happy festivities. Enjoy, but more importantly, stay safe, and please do take a decision to grow in your career, grow professionally, and this is one of the best ways to be successful in life. Thank you, folks. Take care. Bye-bye.